Why men love themselves. The first thing, like the starting point, the phrase, why men love themselves, stand for the reasons why men have regard or value for themselves. The following are the reasons why men love themselves. 1. Having few or more past negative experiences of relationship or connection problems or failures which made them to choose to be more cautious about associations and caused them to prioritize taking care of themselves. For example, in the relationships or associations they were in the past, they perhaps did not love themselves due to ignorance or relying on others to get love, and they experienced the consequences of living for sometimes without having value or regard for themselves, and ultimately experienced the consequences of failing to love themselves. 2. Having experienced serious mental and emotional injuries received from more problems of different types of connections or associations involving people, which made them to give more importance on loving themselves. They perhaps received traumatic experiences which were caused by not being loved in return by the ladies or other people who they loved, and were dumped in an unbelievable way, which could have negatively affected their mental and emotional state. 3. Having received permanent negative effect on their minds, caused by traumatic experiences of more relationship challenges, turn downs or failures, which made them to be more at ease or relaxed with loving themselves and enabled them not to overdepend and not to have the drive of pursuing others for love or happiness. By choosing to love themselves, men avoid relying on ladies or other people for complete love and happiness, because most individuals won't give one a perfect love which is free from problems or some upsetting situations. 4. Being preoccupied with more self-improvement activities which boost one's ability of performing self-love, and they include business, talents, hobbies, studies, and much more. Self-improvement activities enables men to spend more time by themselves improving their physical health, mental health, or character. 5. Being brought up or having lived past life in environments which had conditions and circumstances which made one to lose the passion of looking for happiness from people. This is because love and happiness obtained from people is normally limited, because it can reach times when people can be unable to keep on making one happy beyond the level they can manage. But self-love is normally continuous, and one can still be able to love oneself even if one gets oneself in life situations where one is choosing to be alone or by oneself. 6. Having past negative experiences of relationship challenges such as turn downs or rejections, betrayals, broken trust in former connections, mistakes, incompatibilities, and incomplete or imperfect nature of care obtained from people, which makes them to value self-love more. These relationship challenges make self-love to be the kind of love which is better than relying on love and care obtained from others for personal happiness. Self-love does not hurt, but it enables one to maintain a good well-being, because it does not involve dramatic or melodramatic experiences which can be obtained from being in a relationship with others, whilst on the contrary, when one is in a relationship with others, one should not expect to see a perfectly existing relationship, because where people will exist, it is as sure as the sun will set on the west to state that problems will be part of life, because humans are not perfect. This is similar to the proverb which states that to err is human, meaning that everyone makes mistakes. For this reason, every relationship where humans will exist in, there will be some types of problems, and there will be variation in the level of challenges experienced from one relationship to another. This means that some relationships will be more challenging than others, Some relationships will have less problems than others, and in every human relationship, disagreements will be possible to experience, and some people will reconcile to keep on maintaining their relationship, while others will have no choice but to part ways, by everyone going away to live on his or her own after separation existing due to no longer being able to live together. These events took place in the past and will keep on taking place in the future. 7. The other reality that not everyone is about one, and one has to love and value oneself to limit facing negative consequences of neglecting oneself. It is better to love oneself than neglecting oneself, because the person who you love and you think that loves you back may in reality not love you due to not having feelings of love and affection for you. If one neglects oneself and loses oneself in the process of loving a particular person, one will experience losses due to one not loving oneself but neglecting oneself, and the person who is loved and does not love one back will have nothing to lose, or if that person has something to lose, then that person will only lose what he or she does not love, but the person who loves will lose something that he or she loves. 8. Existence of limitations of humans which also affect their associations, and they include: not all of them can be permanent but can end anytime due to differentiated reasons. Feelings of people can change, they shouldn't be fully trusted in, can disappoint, can be affected by negative circumstances, and are not perfect. Loving oneself is more strong than relying on love and happiness obtained from people, because love and happiness obtained from people can fail to be permanent, but it can shift to be temporary anytime, and can to an end when people or a particular person choose not to love one. Moreover, when one relies on people to love one, the times of one being loved by those people will end when those people leave one, or when feelings of those people change. 9. Love obtained from people have limits, and people can't optimize it beyond the level they can manage due to having human limitations. When it reaches an extent where one cannot obtain love and happiness from others, one won't be loved by the people who once or previously loved one, and one will have to love oneself and perform self-care. 10. One becomes more able to love oneself in order to maintain a good well-being and avoid experiencing mental agitations for things which one has not set up oneself for.